Hey y'all, it's Indigo here. I wanted to make a video today with the announcement that's been made of Grand Arena Championships coming our way. I wanted to make a video showing an overlooked squad that a lot of people don't put much time and effort into. They just kind of let them be and don't use them as much. But one that I really like is the Imperial Troopers, because they're so versatile. You can get a lot of mileage out of them for the gear investment and the fact that they only do require one Zeta to function well, and you have an option to add another Zeta if you want, actually two Zetas, but those definitely aren't required. But this is a squad that a lot of people overlook and just leave it low gear or don't really take the time to mod it well, and then they just see if they can use it in Territory War or Grand Arena if they come upon a junky team. And I wanted to make this video, I've been wanting to for a while, to kind of show you guys, if you're not using it already, you're missing out, because this squad has a lot of versatility to it, and you can use it as a counter for most squads. I mean, it depends on your opponent really and what GP bracket you're going to be battling in. But if your opponent has one weak character on a team, and he's got gear 11 or gear 12, and then he's got one character that's gear 9, or something like that, that's the weak link. That's all you need. As long as you can get one quick kill, that's all it takes to jumpstart this team. That's how they roll. So I'm going to show you how mine are geared up and modded. Obviously, I'm going to go over the characters you see here. Veers as the lead, Stark, Death Trooper, Snow, and then Range Trooper. Range Trooper is pretty key. Ever since he was introduced, he really supercharges this team and makes them be able to have some durability and also be able to take out a bit tougher teams than you would if you didn't have range there. And I can kind of get into that and explain why that is. But let me go ahead and show you the stats on each character, and you can kind of see why I have them that way. So first up is Veers. General Veers is going to be your lead. You have to have the Zeta on his unique. That's kind of what the engine is that drives this team in terms of being able to generate so much turn meter from the enemies dying. So you really need to have that. As far as how he's modded, I don't have his mods finished yet. You can see he's not really that fast. You really want your troopers to do as much damage as possible. So I have a crit damage set on him, but I think it's an offense triangle. When I get crit damage triangles that'll be fast enough and enough offense to fit, I like to swap those out. But kind of the name of the game is you want your troopers to be doing heavy damage, because they do a lot of assist attacks and AoEs, and you want them to be able to hit very hard to get those kills on your opponents. Next up, and this is an important one, is Colonel Stark. He does have a Zeta available, and it's on my wish list for one day, but it's not a priority. You can still make your troopers put in some good work without it. The key to Stark is you have to have him fast. So I have him right now for 296 speed, and of course they get a plus 20 bonus with Veer's lead. So that would put him at 316, which is pretty fast. Generally, that's faster than most people are going to have their bounty hunters or something like Nightsisters. Definitely faster than something like Ewoks or junky rebel squads. You really want him nice and fast, faster than, if you're using him for Grand Arena and the mods are locked at the beginning of the week, you're going to want to keep him nice and fast, because if you're fighting an enemy and they have a boss that's 300 speed, you can't adjust your Stark to be able to go faster and to be able to take out that team. You need to have that done ahead of time. So find out what your mods are like and, you know, get a good high number, because this is the key to getting it started. Is your Colonel Stark has to be super fast so that he can go first and do his special to put buffs up, and the buffs will generate turn meter, and that's what gets the whole thing started. Next up is Range Trooper. He's also a key to this team. With his introduction, he actually gives the troopers buffs, more buffs, and he also gives them retribution so that when they do take damage, they can counterattack. Well, I like him to go next fastest, so I have him at 248. That way, once Stark goes and does his buffs, then usually my range will go and do his buffs. So that's more turn meter that's going to all the rest of your troopers. What I also like to do with the range is, since he's going to be assisting, part of his kit is that he assists in one of his moves, and he'll be assisting in other AoE moves. I like him to have heavy damage, so I have him at 192% critical damage, and then his offense is 4,022. If you can break 4,000, that's good. Get a nice high offense on him so that every time he's assisting and helping out, he's hitting really hard. So you want him decently fast. I think, I'm not too great with the math, but someone told me it was 80% of Stark's speed because of the 2 buffs that Stark gives you, and that's 10% turn meter each. That's where the 20% comes from. Someone may be able to explain it better, but as long as you have him good and fast, he'll go next. He can do his special move, get the buffs and retribution up, and keep the train rolling. Next up is going to be Snow Trooper. He's going to be your main damage dealer. He doesn't necessarily need to be fast. I just happen to have some speed on the mods that I already put on him, which he's got a lot of offense. I don't have a crit damage triangle on him. He does have a crit damage set, but I believe it's an offense triangle just because that's what I happen to have. Once I do get a crit damage primary on that, I'm going to swap that out, because he's the one that does heavy damage, and his AoE can just clear the board, you know, if you do it at the right time. So look at his offense. I got him up to 4622. So yeah, keep it nice and high and let him go to work, you know. He's got to do heavy damage, and that AoE, as long as he can get some good crits, will lower the cooldown on it, so you can keep spamming that to help weaken all your enemies at one go. Now the last one I have here is Death Trooper, and he can be subbed out if you have to sub him out for somebody like Shore Trooper. If you think it's going to be an extended battle and you need a tank, then you can swap in Shore Trooper there for the tank and the healing and the taunt. But if it's going to be a quick battle that you're going to knock out, you want Death Trooper there just for, again, you want to work on high damage for him. But he has an AoE that is a dispel and also can increase cooldowns. And then once you kill the first kill, the next time Death Trooper comes around, you can use his Death Mark. Put Death Mark up on somebody and get another quick kill off of them and keep going. So that's why I like him in there, just to know that for sure I'm not going to have trouble if something like Nest is in the team. I know that Death Mark can help out. I don't know, it just makes for a quick kill when you can get Death Mark applied to somebody. And then it's also good because the target can't be revived. The move is called Terminate, and so if it kills somebody or the Death Mark on him and it kills somebody, then they won't come back. So it's a nice feature to have, and that's why I like having him in there. He does have the Zeta because I gave him the Zeta and Krennic the Zeta from back in the day, but that's not something you need to worry about as far as an Imperial Trooper team. So here's just a snapshot of their mods. I have it sorted by speed. You can see that my Stark is the fastest, and then followed by Range Trooper. Veers is still a work in progress. He only just happens to randomly have 1/6E mod after I, switched everybody's around. And then Death Trooper I'm still working on. And for this example anyway, Magma and Shore aren't too important. Just briefly on Shore, you want health and protection on him because he's going to be a punching bag. So if you use him, his job is just to soak up damage and then last long enough to be able to heal the team. But enough about him. So Snow, you want max damage. I got a crit set on him with a crit chance small set. And like I said, I'll swap the triangle out to crit damage whenever I get one. That's it. You just want them to do as much damage as possible. That's the name of the game, because they're all going to be assisting each other, and you'll be getting multiple attacks. So you want to be able to do as much damage as you can with each attack. Let me go ahead into a little slide that I made that just shows you what kind of bonuses they all give to each other, because they all have uniques that they kind of share with each other. So here's a slide I made. It just says Imperial Trooper bonuses, and then Veer's lead gives plus 30% offense, plus 20 speed, plus 10% turn meter every time they get buffed. And then his unique is what you Zeta, and that's what's important. Every single enemy death, your Imperial Troopers will gain offense up, which once they gain that, that's another 10% turn meter. They gain 50% turn meter, and they recover 10% protection. And then here's a little list of all their uniques that they share. So as long as Veers is alive, all Imperial Troopers will get plus 15% critical chance. And these are as long as they're alive. So if one of them dies, you're going to lose out on this shared unique. But Stark will give plus 50 armor penetration. Range, this is the big one. It gives them plus 50% chance to call Imperial Troopers to assist when they use an ability on their turn. So he's going to constantly be calling assist through that ability. Snow gives plus 20% critical damage, and he gets plus 30% turn meter when an enemy dies, and all other Imperial Troopers will get plus 15%. So that's even more you get when you can get that quick kill on the enemy team. And then Death Trooper just adds plus 10% health steal, but every bit helps. This is one of the reasons this team is so good at getting you a 60 banner win in Grand Arena, because they can recover their health and they can recover their protection. So these are some good bonuses that a lot of people don't think of, but maybe seeing this slide will, now that you can see it all in one place, you think, hey, this team is definitely something I need to put some work into. And it really is, because they can do an awful lot. I mean, we use them in events like the Rebel Roundup. We use them in territory battles. We use them in, the special missions there. We also use them in, I know I use them in every single Grand Arena that I can, and every single territory war. And even sometimes, back in the day, we could use them in Arena. And I do have one clip of that, to show you. It's rare, but sometimes it can be done. But they're just an all-around versatile squad. They have a lot of utility. And if you're a player that maybe you're free to play and you're kind of new to the game, and you may have a low GP and all the people in your bracket are fighting with Gear 8 and Gear 9 characters, well, that's where these guys will shine, because they live on Gear 8 and 9 characters. As long as you can get one quick kill, start that turn meter train going, they're not going to stop. So this might be a great team for you to devote resources to, considering all the other meta teams that we're chasing nowadays need 3, 4, 5 Zetas to function, and this team can do it off of one. So let me show you some clips here. This is just taking my Imperial Troopers against some bounty hunter teams. This first one is just a Bosk team. And if you see Greedo or IG-88 or even Zam on the opposing side, try and target them first because they're the squishiest. You can see their mass attack there just took them out, no problem. And once you get that one kill, it bumps up the turn meter of everybody. And then knock out Boba, that counts as a kill. Then you get to kill him again. And you know, the AoEs from Snow just kind of wipe the board. So that's all I'm doing here is now focusing on Bosk. Now you just got Dengar stealth over there. This could all be done on auto. You see it's taking less than a minute and it's a perfect 60 banner win. This next team is a Jenga-led bounty hunter team. And the thing you gotta watch out for with this is Jenga lead will give plus 30 speed to scoundrels. So you gotta account for that. That's why, like I said, you want your Stark nice and fast. Because if they have a Bosk that is 300 speed and they decide they're running Django as the lead and now he's 330, well, if your Stark isn't that fast, you got to end up using something like CLS. And most of them aren't that fast. You know, my opponents anyway, I get kind of lucky that way. But having my Stark at 316 speed seems to do the trick. So I don't run into too many Jengos that'll be that much, you know, that'll be faster than that. And without having that leadership from Bosk, they're pretty weak. They don't have that extra defense. So your Imps can really just tear right through them. But the key is, like I said, outspeeding them. And this one actually has Nest. You can see how that works. Even with Nest, my troopers aren't in danger of dying. You just got to keep working on Nest and working on Nest. And there we go. AoE, 57 banners on that one. So a pretty good squad. So here's an example of my Imperial troopers against some Nightsisters. This team happens to be a SWGOH lead, but it has Nest in it also. Now, remember what I said earlier, if it's a Mother Talzin lead team, then you have to worry about Plague a bit more. So in that instance, you'd want to take Shore Trooper just for his healing ability so you can get rid of that. Otherwise, your troopers will die off pretty quickly and it'll be a big mess. But with a SWGOH lead, you don't have to worry about that as much. You can get a quick kill, then that'll start the turn meter train and that'll let you be able to focus on the next kill and the next kill. And that's what I'm doing here. So it actually works pretty well against Nightsisters. And then you just have Nest to worry about in the end. And that's why, like I said, Death Trooper, just because he's got Death Mark and that helps out a bit. But you also have so many assist attacks and AoEs. As long as you can deal heavy damage at the right time, you can get Nest down. So that's what you see me doing. It takes a minute, but it definitely can work. Even though she can tank it out with her protection regain, there we go. Hit her at the right time. It's done and still 60 banners. This last clip I have is from a Buddy Jackson, and he used them in Arena when Darth Revan first came out and people were trying to figure out the best comp that would hold, and they were using Darth Revan with Mother Talzin and Zombie in there. This was before Mallet came out, and these are his troopers, which are even better than mine. And you can see how he's wiping this team out and how quickly these battles go. So I just thought I'd show this here, and you can see that even though Darth Revan is in there, these troopers still are getting the job done. He's got Shore in there to help heal, and they made quick work of this Darth Revan team in under a minute. So that's all the clips I have for now. But like I said, these are a pretty versatile counter team. They can counter most every team out there as long as there's a weak link. You know, if someone's using a G8 or G9 character, that's why we tell our guild in Territory Wars that they need to be putting 11 and 12 out, because a G8 or a G9 character is just going to leave that 1 weak link, and that's all somebody's going to need to use their Imp Troopers for a cheap counter. You can do it with First Order, you can do it with Ewoks, you can do it against Phoenix, against like Wigs Rebels. There's a lot of other teams that can be taken down by these troopers other than the ones that I've showed here. So keep that in mind, that you want to have this counter team at your disposal and you don't know what your enemy is going to put down on defense. These guys can take out a lot of options. So it's always nice to have kind of a Swiss Army knife at your disposal. So hopefully this video has helped you guys. And hey, I look forward to these new Grand Arena Championships and seeing how they shake out. Shout out to my buddy Mikayas. He runs a modding service. He'll go through, make sure you got the right squad compositions and the right mods on the right characters. Give your account a real nice tune-up. I'll put the link to his Discord in my description. Go ahead and check him out. Tell him Indigo sent you. Thanks for watching my video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share your comments down below, and hopefully you'll check out my other videos on my channel. Peace.